back to my channel. So today, first off, let me just say I really am so sorry that I didn't have a video up for Friday like I normally do, but if you guys follow me on Snapchat and off of Instagram and everything, you'll know that I've had problems with my footage that I filmed for Friday. I don't know what was going on. For those of you who don't know, I just edit my movies off of Windows Movie Maker, nothing fancy at all. And I don't know, for some reason the files, it kept saying they were corrupted. I'm not super techie, even though like doing YouTube has helped me a little bit. I still don't know a whole lot about that kind of stuff, if you know what I mean. So I couldn't salvage the footage. I tried, I don't know how many times throughout the whole weekend, and I literally could not get it fixed. So I just had to suck it up and film it all over again. And I was so bummed because, like, again, if you guys follow me on Snapchat, you'll know that I was so excited for that tutorial, well, for this look, because I got some new stuff in from ColourPop, and I was really excited to use it. I like had the perfect idea and look in mind with the specific products that I got, and I just couldn't put it up, and it really bothered me. So I, again, just want to apologize for the delay in this tutorial. It sucks, I know. But good news is it's up today, and hopefully, I mean, I'm filming my intro right now, so like hopefully everything goes smoothly when I'm editing and all of that. But thank you guys for being patient with me. I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. Basically, this look is a really dark, glittery, smoky eye. I love the suggestions that you guys left me on my last giveaway entry form. It was awesome. I have a whole list of tutorials that I want to do for this month, and like I said, this month I really just want to turn out as many tutorials as I can, because I think everyone wants to have seasonal and holiday and party looks for all the events coming up during this season, and it's just really fun. And I got some really creative ideas from you guys. You guys gave such great suggestions. So I picked out some of the ones that I felt stand out the most that I know I haven't really done on my channel before, so stay tuned for all of those. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Sorry for the delay. Let's move on. Okay, so to start off this look, once again, we are using MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, and I'm using a Luxie large fluff brush to apply this all over my entire lid space. Then taking any ivory matte shadow to set this. I'm then using the Morphe 35K palette and this very light taupe shade with a Luxie blending brush, and going back and forth in my crease just to give it some definition and a transition shade. Then taking this more of a pink tone taupe, and with the same brush, again, going back and forth in that same area. As you can tell, I like to go back and forth and then in circular motions to help out with blending. Then taking this more of a reddish brown matte shade, also from the 35K palette, and using the same brush, and again just overlapping, again doing my whole layering technique. If you guys are familiar with my channel, you know exactly why I'm doing this. Then taking Sigma's gel liner in Wicked. This is just your pure black gel liner, and we're going to be using this as a base. I am going to be taking this onto a smudge brush and pressing this onto my lid. Notice how I am patting it onto my lid, not swiping. You have much more control this way, and going up into my crease with it, not too far, but just right where we hit the crease. Then taking a mixture of these two matte brown shades, and with a smaller Luxie blending brush, I'm just going to going back and forth of the edge of that gel liner to help to start to fuse it into the shadow. I know I got a really bad clip of that last shadow, but it was also from 35K palette. It's like a gunmetal metallic shade, and I'm using a Luxie, the same blending brush actually from Luxie, and again going over that edge of the gel liner. And then taking that first initial blending brush and going over with a little bit of that first crease color we use, just again to help diffuse the crease a little bit. If you feel like it's too blown out or a little too dark, you can always go back in with a lighter shade to kind of bring it back down a couple notches. Then for the star of the show, this is ColourPop Super Shock Shadow. It's really hard to say. Super Shock Shadow in Disco Ball. My favorite. I am just dying over this shade. It is black with gold reflex. I'm using a flat shader brush just to press this onto the entire lid space. Moving on to the face, I am using Makeup Forever Step 1 Smoothing Primer, and applying this just generally in the center of my face, because that is where I have my problem areas as far as large pores. So really just to help smooth everything over, I'm really focusing this in my nose area and on my inner cheeks and forehead. For foundation, I am using L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. I'm in the shade 102, kinda. It's still a little dark for me, but it's closest as opposed to using the whitest one they have. And I'm gonna be dotting this onto my face first before going in with a Morphe foundation brush. I believe this is the MB39 brush, and using this to just stipple it into my skin. This is by far my favorite drugstore foundation. If you are oily, this is heaven. If you are dry, be cautious, but I really like that it doesn't dry you out too much. Also, it has just a nice natural demi matte finish with excellent coverage, and it really does last a long time. So if you're gonna be going out for holiday parties, Christmas parties, New Year's Eve parties, whatever it may be, you will be definitely locked and loaded with your foundation. It will last you all throughout the evening. For concealer, I'm using my Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer. I'm dabbing it on the back of my hand first and then picking it up with the tip of my beauty blender and starting to kind of press it into my under eye area. I know it's like really a big contrast from my foundation, but I wanted that just because with a smoky eye, I think it looks really nice and sharp with strong highlight and contour. I'm also just kind of pressing this far up the bridge of my nose to kind of slightly contour my nose a little bit just on the sides, just to narrow it out a little bit more, and then kind of cleaning up the edge of my eyeshadow with the tip of the beauty blender as well. For contouring, I'm using Anastasia's Cream Contour Kit in the fair shades. I'm taking the first shade in Mink with an e.l.f. stippling brush and just using this to kind of hollow out my cheekbones a bit. I like to go in circular motions upwards towards the top of my cheekbones and back towards my hairline. I'm also going to be taking this same shade and just running it along my jawline again with the same brush, just to have a little bit of a shadow and contour away any double chins so you are good for photos. Then to contour the forehead, I'm taking this middle shade, this is called Shadow, and just actually stippling it onto my forehead with the stippling brush first, and then using that same beauty blender to actually just buff it in and blend it into our foundation. I found that it was much more natural and seamless looking as opposed to the brush kind of disturbing around that forehead hairline area. And then using that same contour shade to do two parallel lines on the sides of my nose for my nose contour, and then kind of like reverse L's just to give my rounder nose a more pointy shape, because that is what I desire. But you do you don't even have to nose contour if you don't want to. Placing that same contour shade on the bottom of my nose and on my cupid's bow, or in the center of my cupid's bow. Then taking the highlight shade on the left hand side and just placing two little peaks on my cupid's bow, and also the thin stripe down the bridge of my nose as well. I'm also going to be taking that shadow shade and just lining my lips with it. This can give an illusion of a fuller lip line, so if you are desiring fuller looking lips, then by all means this is a great contouring trick. If you already have full lips, then girl, you are blessed. You don't even have to worry about this. But if you don't want full lips, rock whatever you want. I'm then going to be taking my beauty blender and just buffing this all into my foundation and making sure that all the lines are melted in together. I really love these cream contours from Anastasia because they give such a natural finish, especially this fair one. It was such a necessary item, especially for girls like me who are pretty fair and we can't really get away with so much of the warmer contouring shades that are usually in contour kits. I'm then just taking a beauty blender and pressing that highlight shade underneath my contour and blending whatever excess foundation I have on my brush with it. For the under eye, I'm going to be baking it because I want this to last and not crease at all throughout the evening. So I'm taking my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder with my contour sponge, and on the flat side of the sponge I am just pressing this powder generously onto my under eye area, also on the sides of my nose where we brought up the concealer, and we're going to let this sit and just kind of chill for a little bit while this bakes. I'm going to be doing my brows off camera. I do have a full in-depth brow tutorial on my channel, so you guys can search that up if you're interested in how I do my brows. After we are done, I'm just be blending away that excess baking. This will keep you looking matte and pretty much creaseless all throughout the night, so you are good to go. To set this area and just to highlight it further, I'm taking these two highlighting shades from the NYX Highlight and Contour Kit with the Real Techniques multitask brush and just kind of dusting this along my under eye area. I'm also going to be using these two shades to set in the middle of my forehead, and I'm also going to be using them on the center of my nose as well, again just to bring more light to the center of the face. I also really like that these contour and highlight shades from the NYX palette seem to be full coverage in a way, like they give more coverage, so you're good to go in case you want to have that extra layer of coverage. Then for bronzing up my forehead, I'm going to be taking my Benefit Hoola bronzer and just going with a Sonia Kashuk large powder brush along my hairline, dragging it down to about the middle part of my forehead, blending it downwards. And then also just kind of warming up my cheeks, but also using this as a transition shade so the strong contour isn't so strong and just is like a, I guess, a skinny line across our hollows of our cheek, and then also a little bit on the bottom part of my chin. Then again, so now we have the transition, the cream contour. I'm just going to set that contour really quick with a Sonia Kashuk brush. I don't know the name of this brush. It didn't come with a name. It just came in a set. And taking one of the NYX contour shades, I believe I used the more gray tone one to just hollow out the cheekbones further, and then also switching brushes to this small flat brush, which you guys know is my fave for nose contouring. It is like a small mini version of the NARS Eater brush, so I highly recommend it. I don't know if it's sold in like by itself from Sonia Kashuk, but I really hope it is. And then I'm going to be taking Anastasia's Illuminator in Starlight, and with a Bobbi Brown eye blender brush, I'm going to be dusting this on the tops of my cheekbones. Not going to lie, I layered it on a good amount of times, but you can put on as much as you're comfortable with. I'm then taking a small eyeshadow brush and just dusting this across my Cupid's bow, and also placing a thin stripe down the bridge of my nose to give my nose a more lifted appearance. I'm also going to be taking a little bit of this Illuminator and just kind of really focusing a small circle right in between my eyes, or I guess on the soup of my nose, if you will, just so when light hits it, it kind of gives it a more upward look. And then again, doing that same little small circle right on the tip of my nose. So this is my mom interrupting me. Please ignore this. I'm then going to be taking Milani's Baked Blush in Rose Amore? No, it's called Berry Amore. Sorry, I forgot the name for a second. Pressing this onto my cheeks. I'm also going to be taking a little bit of this Bobbi Brown bronzing, highlighting in whatever duo. And here is where I had a mini meltdown. You guys, my NYX Espresso brow mascara busted on me, so I'm going to have to get a new one. But either way, we have to go on. So I used what I could and then add that to my shopping list. I'm then taking that same Sigma gel liner and lining my waterline and also right underneath my bottom lashes. Then taking a black shadow from that Morphe 35K palette and pressing this up against that liner to really set it. But then we're going to be smoking it out. I am then taking a Mary Kay smudge brush and one of the deeper matte browns from that palette and just kind of running it along over on top of that line. Then taking a pencil brush and then getting one of the taupe shades we use in our crease, just further diffuse this. I wanted to go pretty far down and really smoke this out, but again, you can go as far as you want and as far as you're comfortable with. I'm then just placing some mascara on my top and bottom lashes, and then for my lashes, I'm going to be using Huda Beauty lashes in the style Carmen. But while those are drying, we're going to move on to our lipstick. For the lipstick, I am using ColourPop's Ultra Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Platform. This shade really reminds me a lot of Anastasia's liquid lipstick in Milkshake, except Milkshake has more of a pink undertone to it, and this one is definitely more peach, but they're both that kind of milky white nude shade, if you will. Like, it's very, very blank, very nude, but this is more peach, so I really liked it for this look. I felt like it brought a little bit of warmth to it, but with a really dark smoky eye, I think it's always striking to pair it with a nude lip. Then popping on our lashes. I'm going to show you guys really quickly in this video too how I put on my lashes. As you can see here, I like to get any pair of tweezers, or you can use your fingers. I like to anchor the center of the lash first, and then I get the corners of the lash and just anchor them down as well. You do want to let the glue get tacky, which is why I had put on my lipstick while the glue was drying, because if not, they're just me slipping and sliding everywhere. So here we go again on the other eye. See, I anchor down the lash first, then I go and get the outer corner, anchor that really closely there, and then I'm going to go on the inner corner and anchor that as well. And trust me guys, I wasn't always as good at putting on lashes. Over time, practice does really make perfect, so do not give up. I promise you, you will get it in no time. After that, you can set off with some setting spray, and this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'm so glad I finally got it up. Thank you for bearing with me, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.